What's up, folks? Sean, the Average Angler. It is March. It is March 1st today, and that means big things coming for all of us, right? Because the fishing is going to start improving. Pre-spawn's right around the corner. Where I'm at, it's warming up. I was out fishing today, and 57 to 62 degrees is what I found. The bite was not necessarily what I expected. And look, I'm going to tell you about that too, because oftentimes we just look at temperature and forget that February just ended. So that does matter. Timing is everything, right? So a couple weeks ago, the water temperature was in the 40s. We had a warming trend, and now it's in the high 50s. That's great, but the fish aren't ready to spawn overnight. So let's settle down on the spawn. Let's look at some baits to catch fish during March. I'm not going to give you the basics. Everybody's giving you some, right? Everybody's giving you the same old ones. The A-rig, the chatterbait. I'm not going to waste your time with it. I'm going to give you some special stuff that's going to work for you in March. And look, March is a month need to have a whole lot of rods on the deck. That's just how it is, right? Junk fishing 101. It can be all over the place. And my advice is go down the bank and fish what's in front of you. Number one, first and foremost, that is my advice. Now that we're past that, I just gave you a little bit of juice. And if you don't think it's juice, think again and give it a try, and you'll find out that it is. I really appreciate you clicking on the video. If you are not a subscriber, I would really appreciate you subscribing down below. Hit that like button, leave a comment, let's have a conversation. This is a great community here on the Average Angler channel. Everybody's trying to help each other out, so join in, become one of the group, and we're all trying to help each other catch more fish here. All right, I appreciate every last one of you. All right, so first, and this was a major player today, okay? And it's going to be a major player now through the spawn. That's a tube. This is a jig head one. I was throwing the stupid tube today. I got two of my bigger fish on the stupid tube. It's just something not a lot of people are throwing, people, and it gets bit. I mean, a tube has been a great bait for a long time. I'm telling you guys, I try to teach you guys things. Some people just don't want to do it. But look it up, stupid tube, okay? Look up the stupid tube rigging. It is a phenomenal rig. It catches fish, works year round, but it really shined for me today, all right? And I mean, they choked it when they ate it. So the stupid tube that's my first one. Again, we're not talking about the chatterbait, the A-rig, all that stuff, because everybody else is talking about that. You already know that stuff, right? This one's kind of a sleeper, but this produced my biggest fish today. It also produced the most bites today, and that shaky head. Now this is that Bass Union shaky head right here, okay? I suggest a quarter. I really like the quarter this time of year, and my bait on that is going to be the Fatty Z by Z-Man. Now, for those of you wondering who watched the previous video about Z-Man and the Tackle Warehouse exclusive coming out with a 6-inch, actually I have them right here. It is called the Thick Stick. It is a pretty big bait, which is nice because perfect timing, right? Let me show you this Bass Union jig head with a 2/0 hook. That's key because Joseph sells them in a 1 and 2/0. You'll see the bite there that's remaining, okay? Yes, it is a thick worm. But with that EWG and how soft Elastec is, we get a lot of bite, okay? This is going to be a phenomenal setup through the spring, and I'm going to give you some places to throw it. Don't worry about that. In an upcoming video, I will kind of highlight some of the baits where you should be looking to throw it. But I will tell you right now that if you have docks on your body of water, the Shaky head is a phenomenal bait to throw around docks. If it's early like it is now, throw it out in the staging depths, okay? A little bit deeper. As it warms up, we get closer to that full moon, we may move up a little shallower. Now keep in mind, folks, like I said, it is barely March. Depending on where you're at in the country, unless it's Texas or Florida, there's not going to be a big move right now, okay? We just came out of 40-something degree water. The fish aren't ready, okay? Doesn't mean they won't get up shallow. I'm just saying they're not going to spawn right now. They will be feeding up. So that's what we want to look for. Next bait is going to be a square bill, okay? These happen to be the BDS 4s by Lucky Craft. Okay, if they're still available, I got these from Tackle Warehouse just because I found they were still there and I bought them, but they are being discontinued as far as I can tell. If you can't get the BDS 4, the BDS 3, pretty close. I like the BDS 4 because if they're getting rid of them, that means less people will have them, so forth and so on. Square bills are a great way to cover water. If you are on a shallower water impoundment, they don't run real deep, so keep that in mind. If you're on a highland reservoir where you come out 10 feet off the bank and you're in 20 foot of water, the square bill may not be your gig. And I'm going to give you something in that spot in just a second. For those of us that have shallow water impoundments or areas with big flats and cover on them, okay? Berryessa, for instance, on the East Bank has all the trees. Fish will start pushing up into that shallower water and you can catch them on a square bill. Square bill, like I said, you cover water. It's very similar to that of a chatterbait, but if it's slicked off, a lot of times the square bill is the ticket. No problem. If you are in a body of water that's a little deeper, go to the DT 12, DT 16, DT 14 by Rapala, depending on the depth you need to target. Look, figure out your staging depth. Okay, this is an observation that you should be making year after year. It's often the same depth that those fish after the spawn pull off and hang out in. So hopefully you know what it is on your body of water. I pay attention to it all the time because that is a depth that you can get bit in almost all the time. So keeping with and this is probably mentioned by a lot of people, we're gonna have to have that old LV500 or whatever rattle bait it is that you use in your part of the country. Could be the LV, could be the Strike King red-eyed shad, but that vibrating lipless bait is going to be a key player. Again, another great way to cover water. Locate schools of fish. If fish are still schooled, we want to locate schools. Singles, not going to help us. Well, it's always nice to catch them, but the idea is to catch large fish. The glide bait. This is not really a glide per se. It kind of does a little bit of both. You can slow retrieve it. It'll swim. You can twitch it and make it chop. This is a Buka trick shad. This is the ABS model. They're like 30, 40 bucks, something like that. Okay. Very effective bait this time of year to throw around some sort of cover. You can throw it over points, those kinds of things, to see if you're drawing any attention. And when the time's right, they will attack that thing. Couple little bonus baits. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about these because I don't want to bore you guys with it. I'm sure you're hearing a lot about it. The rip bait, we all know now through the spawn, great bait to have. So We have the rip bait. The Okasana slide. Not a bait talked about a whole lot. And this color is phenomenal. If you're new to soft glide baits or glide baits in general, this is a soft glide, okay? It's a soft glide. It is a line through glide. Very easy to fish. Bone, white, something like that. Generally going to attract a lot of attention. Don't overthink it. If you're new to it, get a white bone, whatever. They're very effective. If you've been doing it for a while, well, I ain't telling you nothing you don't already know, right? Last but not least, definitely not least, this bait, this rig, okay, this is a rig. I don't know what it is that people don't like about this rig. This rig allows you to cover water, get big bites, get lots of bites, and that is the good old Carolina rig. And if nothing else, you can put a Senko on it and you're gonna catch fish. Now through the post spawn, the Carolina rig will be a major player. Okay, and it's probably one of the best baits to throw up into shallower water and then drag it out. Look for things like drains, ditches, drop-offs, those kinds of things. These are all migratory routes for the bass. They're high percentage spots to put our baits in, and the Carolina rig is just a way that we can fish fairly fast without fishing fast, if you know what I mean. Okay, you're going to drag the bait. When you drag it, it's going to lift the bait up. When you stop, it's going to slowly flutter down. Pretty simple. I don't know. People don't like the ball and chain, okay? But the bottom line is it just works. And co-anglers that fish these tournaments off the back of the boat, the ones that are successful, they're telling me, shut the hell up, dude. Because guess how they do a lot of it? The Carolina rig. It's a defense mechanism that allows us to fish behind somebody and still be productive. Okay, that may have been the biggest juice I could really give you today. I do want to be clear here. March is a time where I'm going to have 12 to 16 rods on the deck or deck, rod locker, lots of stuff rigged up, guys, and I'm going to keep changing, pulling things out based on what I'm seeing with my eyes and with the electronics to decide what it is that day that I need to be doing. All right. I'm Sean, the Average Angler. Thanks for watching. Let's get some big fish here in March, everybody. I want everyone to catch a PB. That's why we're here. Thanks for watching. Sean, the Average Angler. We out.